Wherever you are and however you may be listening, thank you and welcome. This is the EDH Outlaws podcast. So sit back and throw us on while you sort some cards or play some games. We're here to provide an audio conversation about our favorite format, Commander. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. Commander Legends has a ton of different deck ideas. We each picked some of our favorite Commander ideas and want to have a deck building roundtable and see how much we can break these cards. I'm Ricky, and with me tonight is Richard.
Hello, how's it going?
And we have Kayla.
Hi.
And as always, save the best for last, Blake.
Hello, how's it going?
It is going great. We finally got all the cards spoiled and released for the Commander Legends. Now we just got to wait to get our boxes in the mail. So tonight, we each got our deck ideas. I want to start off with the little red guy, Ketis. It's Ember Claw Failure. He is 1 plus a red, legendary creature, elemental lizard. I almost said wizard. Elemental lizard. Whenever a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent with partner, but it's only a 1/1. So right out the gate, this is one of those cards that I see being a very popular commander. My guess is within a year we're going to see this thing high up on the list on all the major websites like EDH Rec because of its versatility. No matter what card I pair this with, if you just go down the basic Voltron route, it's absolutely nasty. The value town of hitting your opponent, hitting one opponent and then dealing damage to every other opponent is completely unique right now in the command zone. And so the first pairing I had with this is Arden, the Intrepid Archaeologist. This would be the partner to the commander to partner with 2 plus a white legendary creature core scout. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of aura and equipment you control to target permanent or player. Partner, it's a 2/2. This is just like a no-brainer. Fill it with some good Whisper Silk like cloak type spells because you don't have to pay the equip cost on it. Make both your commanders unblockable, target 1 or 2 players, and shotgun everybody else at the same time.
This is kind of the default commander for this, for Kadis, it seems like, is running Voltron, getting as much attached to him as possible and dealing damage. So does this activated ability, or does this ability work with Infect?
Yeah, I was going Basilisk with Lifelink and Death Touch, but I love that. Yeah.
God. You throw a grafted exoskeleton on there and get it up to 11 and then hit, and then it's an insta-win?
Yeah.
So, is it grafted exoskeleton? I was thinking of Oblivion Crown, but I think that's just a discard outlet.
Grafted exoskeleton gives him +1/+1 and then gives it infect or something like that. So you could easily do double strike with infect and almost, if not always, win the game with it.
So for those of you that don't have it memorized, Grafted Exoskeleton is a 4-drop artifact. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has infect. Whenever it becomes unattached from a permanent, sacrifice that a permanent equip cost is 2. So right out the gate, we see the value of Arden. I mean, normally I look at artifact equipment and go 4 + 2 equals this is a 6-drop because I want to use it the turn I cast it.
I mean, it's a two card combo. You throw Colossus Hammer on it with Grafted Exoskeleton. It's already an 11/11, makes it a 12/12. You're ready to rock and roll.
Now it says it does. The commander, it specifies that the commander does that much damage to each other opponent.
I don't think infect would count the same.
I think it would.
Infect counts the same. Commander damage doesn't count the same.
See, that's what I was wondering. So it wouldn't affect commander damage, even though it is a commander doing that much damage, which is not direct combat damage.
Yeah, commander damage is specific to combat, whereas infect is just if you read the way they word it, it's whenever damage is dealt instead.
Deal this much infect.
It deals damage to creatures in the form of neg1 counters, and to players in the form of poison counters. So it doesn't actually specify combat damage. That's one of the beauties of infect is you can. Oh my God, Kayla, I can hear your brain turning from here. You're gonna do something with this card in a different deck.
We're all just gonna die to infect in this next round of decks that we
I just
build.
had a panic attack.
I just thought about that while you were talking about it. I was like, oh my goodness.
I didn't even finish that. You got any thoughts on this one, Kayla? The Kedis or the white one?
No, I mean, I really like the ability to attach equipments and things for free. That makes it, like you said, huge value town. Especially being able to, like you said, shotgun, aim at one, hit all. That's awesome.
It's
Crazy
free
part, too.
equip cost with a partner. It's incredible.
And they're both uncommons. Like these aren't even going to be pulled out of packs at rare. These are just going to be uncommons that are super powerful.
You could play these commanders in Pauper EDH since they're uncommons.
That's awesome. That makes that
all three of these commanders on the screen right now could be played in Pauper.
So the last little combo or partnering you can do with Kedis I wanted to bring up is the blue option. I'm going to butcher this, Seor. I'm going to call her Eeyore. Ooh, the coloring actually fits. So Eeyore, the Ward-Wing familiar, is also a 2-drop like Kedis, 1 plus a blue. It's a flyer. Spells your opponent cast that target one or more commanders you control costs 3 more to cast. Also partner 1/3. So a couple things. The targeting of the commander part is just like I see this. This is another one I see is just like if you just want to add blue into any partner combination, wonderful option to have. With Kedis, the built-in flying in the command zone becomes the ultimate target for your. It allows you to not just Voltron for unblockable or evasion. It allows you to do the beef route. And as we all know, Ricky loves his blue counter spells and sight grifts and all those shenanigans.
It fits very well with that. Those two cards are actually that art is by the same artist.
Huh.
Good catch.
So that's a little fun fact.
That cast can work so well with so many different commanders. If you can somehow make it work with Shakashima, the new Shakashima, the guy released with the partner.
Mm-hmm.
Which other card, Kedis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
because then you would do damage to one person and then do twice as much to each other player.
Or you have Takashima come in as a completely different character, not Cadet, or a different card, not Kedis. Just something other big and nasty, gross thing. And with Kedis's thing, it's any commander you control, not just him.
Oh.
So have Takashima come out as something gross.
What a copy of Kozlik.
Right? I'm going to copy your Forgotten Ancient or Mana Gorgia Hydra.
Could you create
So-
a copy of him and deal 2 different forms of damage to each opponent?
Absolutely,
So like
those would
one
stack.
would trigger and the next. Okay, it would stack.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Doing double to each other opponent. Single to one and then double to the other two. Sounds like value there.
Yeah, Gilsa or whatever it is, the one that gives everything double strike. That Boros one. Yeah.
Zella. Yeah.
So my other thought was like the best partner, the best dual colored partner commander combo with Kedis. My opinion, Bruce Tarl. Because having the double strike in the command just means you're dealing double damage to your opponents as well. Freaking awesome.
And you can't say anything bad about a little bit of life gain.
Yeah, having
Yeah.
lifelink is always.
Oh my god, it gives it lifelink, so all that damage dealt to the freaking opponents, you also gain in life.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wasn't even thinking about that when I said best combo for the pre-existing dual command. That's hilarious. So obviously, like, Kedis, super great, awesome, lot of potential. There's tons of different combos we could talk about with the card, but let's. I'm kind of digging what you were bringing up, Richard. What was this card you wanted to talk about?
Oh, the commander I wanted to talk about, Raphael, the Boundless Dawn, beautiful unicorn. Green and
Unicorn
white.
Tribal?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to go unicorn tribal with it. But I am definitely going to go life gain tribal with it. Let me tell you that. It just facilitates how the deck will flow so nicely. He himself has lifelink, and at the beginning of each end step, so my end step, your end step, everyone's end step. If I gain life that turn, I distribute up to that many 1/1 counters among any number of other target creatures. Unfortunately, you can't target Raphael, but there's ways to work around that to beat Raphael up. So that it's just beyond crazy how this deck is how it presents you to be able to play. You start off with some cheap, low mana ways of gaining life to get the system going. Looking at Soul Warden, Essence Warden. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. And there's more versions of those 2 cards out there. And when you gain that life, you then get to not only gain the life, but then distribute counters at each end step. So even one creature on an opponent's turn is going to get you 1+1/+1 counter. Then you're going to be putting that counter. In my mind, I'm going to be working with flying lifelink creatures such as Healing Hawk. Just a 1-drop, 1/1 flying lifelink. But you get those counters going, and that Healer Hawk quickly turns into a serious threat, and it's compounding because every time it makes contact, you're gaining more life and getting more counters at your disposal. And then it will also allow you to do things like ramp. If you throw them on a crystalline crawler, the 4-drop artifact creature, you can take a counter off of it and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So you're gaining life and you're putting counters on there. You then use that life gain to cast your next spell. It's really great. You got and another thing you can do, and probably one of the most broken connections I've seen so far with Raphael, is Spike Feeder. Spike Feeder is a 2 green and a 1. 0/0 creature, but when the Spike Feeder enters the battlefield, it gets 2+1/+1 counters. You can pay 2, remove 1, and put a counter on another target creature, which would then you could use to beat Flatfield. But what's really broken is the last ability there. It says remove a +1/+1 counter from Spike Feeder, and you gain 2 life. So you can do this on everyone's turn. So first person, you remove 1, keeping him alive, and then you gain 2 life. And then at the end of that turn, you get 2 counters. So the next turn, you can remove 2 and gain 4 life. And then at the end, put 4 more counters on Spike Feeder. Next turn, 3. And it just compounds and gets out of control. Well, and there's many different creatures. So if I gain 4 life, I can put 1 on Soul Warden, 1 on Healer Hawk, 1 on Spike Feeder, and so on. I mean, and if you want to be able to compound that, the number of the counters, because it's great counterplay, we can include things like hardened scales into the mix. That allows you to double the counters if you spread them around. It's just amazing. It just really compounds her ability there, and making that Healer Hawk that 1/1 little flyer, because I like the idea of having flying. It's great when you're doing a combat-based deck to have the air covered. You have to have an aerial assault and aerial protection. But the mana curve on this deck is going to be running pretty low, because all you really need are little cheap creatures like Healer Hawk to get the process started. Flying over, getting 1 life, and then you beef that Healer Hawk. So next time you're getting 2, and then 4, and then 6, and then, as it goes on. And there's many other ways of gaining life and other life gain triggers we can use within the deck. I mean, then you just add in your basic ramp package. It doesn't have to be too extensive, but a basic ramp package, some creature tutor, a little bit of draw, and you have a fun deck that is very easily, if left unchecked, just get out of control. Like a Sarah's Ascendant. Imagine that. A Sarah's Ascendant starting off the game with 6 in the air, and then every time it lands, you get that much life, and he gets to become that much bigger.
You could easily Sarah's Ascendant into a turn 2 lethal, or however you pronounce it, a turn 2 unicorn, and then you're just off to the races at that point, because you'll gain 6 life, and you can just put 6 1/1 counters on Sarah's Ascendant. It's now a 12/12, and you just compound off of that.
Yeah.
This deck's going to be very difficult to face.
One card I see super good in this one is Gleam of Authority. It's a riff from Dragons of Tarkir. 1 plus a white, enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on other creatures you control. And then it also has the enchanted creature has vigilance and pay a white, tap it, bolster 1. So this I remember when you first brought the deck up, I was just like meh, and then once you started explaining it, it was like, this is gonna be fun to deal with.
Yeah, this is gonna be a difficult deck.
And then there's also other ways of gaining life, like Great Henge. Artifact, tap it, you gain mana to cast the spells, and you gain 2 life. And at the end of the turn, that's just 2 more counters, and you're getting beefy creatures. So the Great Henge is really quickly going to be very cheap to cast. So.
The other one I wanted to bring up on this for this deck is Together Forever. It's a 2-draw enchantment that I believe was originally printed in Battle Bond.
Correct.
When it enters the battlefield, support 2, and then pay 1, choose target creature with a counter on it. When that creature dies this turn, return that card to its owner's hand. Great way to save your creatures if somebody decides to board wipe or something.
Yeah, and board wipes are going to be the bane of existence for a deck like this. Like heavy creature based.
It's going to be highly targeted.
I like it. We said at the beginning we want to see if we can break some cards. I don't think we need to talk about it. You did a pretty damn good job setting up some nasty stuff there. So, Kayla, what do you got your eyes on?
So the card that has most excited me, or the commander that has most excited me from the set is the Achroma Vision of Ixidor. Actually, I was at work on a break reading through these, and I called Richard, and I was like, "This is the one." I'm finally, what's the word? Inspired. I have been wanting to do a keyword soup deck for a while, and just haven't found the right fit for me. And I saw this one. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the way I'm going to go with it. And originally, I was thinking about partnering it with the Sakashima and using the Sakashima to copy Achroma so that everyone gets even more +1/+1 things. All right, so she's White Angel, flying, first strike, vigilance, and trample. She says at the beginning of each combat until end of turn, each other creature you control gets +1/+1 if it has flying, +1/+1 if it has first strike, and so on for double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, protection, reach, trample, vigilance, and partner.
That's a lot of options.
That's a lot of options.
So many.
So I wasn't finding a lot that I wanted to put in there with going the white-blue option with Sakashima, so I've actually changed it to, I'm going to say, Ikra Shidiki, the Usurper. She's a 3 and a black-green. She has menace, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So that's what I'm going to partner. I mean, it's nice to have the life gain, but the black-green was really what I was looking for as far as cards to add in with Achroma to get those good keywords in there. So one of the ones that will be a definite add-in is Cathril, Aspect Warper.
Kathy.
Some of the other ones that I was... Sorry, what?
Kathy.
Kathy!
Yeah, kind of a hidden commander there.
100%.
Another one is Odric, Lunarch Marshal. At the beginning of each combat, creatures I control gain all the things.
If they have keyword soup, put keyword soup on all creatures.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then
so
each
that gives
creature
it
is
all
based
to
on.
everything. And they all get +1/+1 for all those things. And it's each combat, so not just if I'm attacking.
So good.
Oh, that's kind of, I like that. It's not, you don't have to attack to get the trigger on. I mean, not like you're not going to attack with a flying first strike, vigilance, trample, 6/6 angel.
But the one that I do want to add in there is Cairn Wanderer. It's 4 and a black. It's a changeling. And as long as a creature card with flying is in a graveyard, Cairn Wanderer has flying. Same is true for all of the keyword soupy things. So that's in anyone's graveyard. So that one goes through and steals abilities from other people for me to capitalize on. And of course, Achroma's Memorial.
Give them all the things all the time, and they'll always have the things all the time.
There's 14 different keywords that it can get the beef on. And 4 of them are built into the commander. So yeah, Odric's real good right out the gate, whether just with her out.
Yeah.
Would have been so
But
broken if they gave her
it's
the
also
crow.
helpful for, some little small drop, things that have just flying and death touch. And then, they come out as a 3/3 instead of a 1/1. And if I can give them all the things with Odric or a Chroma's Memorial, even better.
Oh, that's a good point. And that kind of holds true to the deck idea Richard just had with if you use creatures as your main source of ramp later on in the game, they're going to get beefed the heck up and become some nice. Jesus, get Odric out with like 3 mana dorks and her. They're all 5/5s with flying, first strike, vigilance. That's disgusting.
Yeah. And I'm picturing an old classic. I love to run Vampire Nighthawk. 3-drop, flying, lifelink, and death touch. Who pops in with the usurper, pops in with menace and partner, so she automatically gets a beef of 2 with the angel on board. But with Vampire Nighthawk of this guy, the Nighthawk Scavenger, which is really cool. You can get bigger really quickly, but you get kind of a double life gain with it because you gain a life from the attack, and then you also get the defensive life gain from the usurper.
I like
that's
it.
True. I like it. Oh, so then, oh God, what's that? Richard, you run it in Kenrith. It's the enchantment that doesn't it add counters whenever they gain life.
There's a few versions of that. I have Archangel Thune, and then there's the Heliod. Whenever you gain life, you can put a +1 counter on something.
Yeah,
Specifically
Heliod
an
is
aura.
Oh, there's one Sunbond, I believe it's called, where whenever you gain life, you put that many counters on the creature that it has enchanted.
Oh, it's so good.
I believe it's like a white +3. Yeah, white +3, Sunbond, enchantment, or enchanted creature has whenever you gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature.
Okay, so Chroma doesn't have the life link, but you're going to get that out in this deck.
Yeah. I'm also seeing things like Primal Rage, that 2-drop enchantment that gives all creatures you control trample.
Great card.
Not mana heavy, but it affects all the creatures. Plus, with the combat damage happening, you're getting that damage through.
I like it. I like it. I love that Kayla is sticking to her Angels theme. So Blake.
Well, Angels and Snakes, right?
Angels and Snakes.
Angels, demons, dragons, and snakes.
It's either flying or slithering on the ground.
There is no in between.
No in between ever.
So Blake, what do you got for us, bud?
I have a delicious new goblin commander. His name is Togo Goblin Weaponsmith. He is 2 colorless and 1 red. He's a goblin artificer. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under my control, I create a colorless equipment artifact token named Rock. The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. With equipped creature has pay 1 colorless, tap this, sacrifice this rock. This creature deals 2 damage to any target, and it has equip 1. It's also a partner commander, so that makes it infinitely more viable because you can just pair it with whatever color you want really to get your end goal. And so I'm going to partner it with Thrasios. Everybody knows what Thrasios does. 4 colorless, scry 1. Look at the top card. If it's a land, put it into the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, put it into your hand or draw that card. Um, I'm really just using the blue and the red in here to create as many rock tokens as possible to pair with mechanized production. In mechanized production, it's an enchantment. It costs 2 colorless and 2 blue, and you're enchanting an artifact. And when you enchant that artifact at the beginning of your upkeep, you create a token copy of the enchanted artifact. It's going to be on the rock itself. And so I will just be creating more and more rocks at my upkeep and using landfall triggers to create more rocks. And the second part of the text that says, if I were to control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as each other, I win the game. So I'm really working on comboing off on a turn, creating as many rock tokens as possible using landfall triggers such as Azusa or Exploration, Farseek, Rampant Growth, getting as many lands into the battlefield as possible. And then I take an extra turn, and at my upkeep, I have more than 8 rocks, and I win the game.
But it's not any. It's not just any rock, but a with the same name. Correct.
Correct. So I could pop off with Dockside Extortionist.
Yeah, that's where my mind was going. Treasure tokens.
Yeah, treasure tokens. Like if I could throw, well, Anointed Procession wouldn't work, but Parallel Lives or whatever the other one is, I could throw those in where I'm doubling. If I were to create a token, I create twice as many as that. So really, it's kind of just seeing how many tokens of the same name I can get into the battlefield, enchanting said token, and taking an extra turn. That's what I'm going for here. And
Final Fortune's such a great one on that too. That
yes.
that line of cards is like, who cares if I lose the game because I'm gonna win on my upkeep.
I was gonna say I'm not cared. I don't worry about that extra turn. I worry about that extra upkeep. And Thrasios really provides that. I can sort of filter through my deck. I can throw Canaan in there, have a whole bunch of mana rocks. I'm able to filter through my deck, find my win cons, and then play those said win cons and go off from there. The blue, green, and red really fit together in this deck to where I can just kind of do whatever I want. I lose a bit of the tutor ability, but the filtering through my deck isn't that difficult.
Well, it's definitely a solid color combo: red, green, and blue. The green will add a little bit of extra ramp, but blue adds protection and counter magic. Plus, Thrasios allows you to work through the deck to get the cards you need and the extra landfall triggers too. With Thrasios.
Absolutely. This is really the only one that I've been working on more in depth because once I saw Togo, I was like, I want to build something around there where I can abuse his create a rock trigger or abuse his lands that enter the battlefield. I create something. So I want to figure out how I can utilize getting as many lands into the battlefield as possible and kind of just outright winning on one turn. It may take until turn 6 where I have enough mana where I can just like tap it all and go all out, but I'm willing to take that risk.
Well, with the land aspect too, you can go the Crucinop route, Crucible and Ramanop Excavator.
Yep.
And there's in that color combination, you've got access to 11 different lands with cycling. So to help dig through the deck, that's basically 11 draw spells that you don't have to waste a card slot with. It's freaking awesome.
This is a deck that I'm very excited about. That I'm excited to put together and see if it actually can function efficiently.
Oh yeah, and you get a lot of hate options with those colors too. Counter spells, uh, direct damage spells, artifact sweepers.
Yep.
You got access to the graveyard with green. It's great. It's a great color pairing for what you want to do. I'm impressed that you put mechanized production together with the commander. That's awesome.
It was a lot of searching and a lot of just like, I was just like, artifact win. And I was just scrolling through and I came across mechanized production and I was like, this is something I can get down. This is something I can get into. I just couldn't figure out what partner that I wanted to run with Togo until Ricky came up with Thrasios, and I was like, that is true. That is a reprint coming in this set. This is something that I can put in there.
Could it also complement maybe a backup Hellkite Tyrant strategy?
Absolutely. That's another very good win con. I definitely have to invest in another Dockside Extortionist if I'm going to play this deck.
Well, he's just a staple with any red deck. I mean, if the deck has bad, then you want him.
Oh God, yeah. We don't need to go down that can of worms. Dockside, like we could have an entire episode on just Dockside and the shenanigans we could do.
It just keeps going up.
And blue also offers the sorcery and instant tutors. Like what is the personal tutor is one. There's a cheaper 1-drop blue that's really popular, and I should know the name of it, but I'm not thinking of it.
Mystical.
Mystical tutor. Yes, thank you. Mystical tutor to get that final fortune when you're ready to lay down the mechanism, mechanized production, and then immediately move to the next turn for the win, so people don't have that chance to go dig in with their own Thrasios, whatever options they have to try and find the answers.
There's also the green card that's coming out. I don't know if it's a reprint or not, because I'm not well versed enough in Magic to know, but the Reshape the Earth. It's 6 and 3 green sorcery. Search your library for up to 10 land cards, put them onto the battlefield, tap, and shuffle your library.
I think I just peed a little bit.
That's a very, very... Oh my gosh, Kayla.
Kayla hasn't said a word. She just let us all...
She's just going to drop a bomb on us.
Well, no, I couldn't remember what it was or where I'd seen it, so I've been quiet while I was searching for it.
Oh my goodness.
I just remember, I was like, there's something that lets you put 10 lands out. What the hell was it?
This deck is... Yeah. Automatically, Canaan is a shoo-in because I need that extra dork mana increase. And then with this card here, yeah, that's... Wow, Kayla. Broke my brain with that one.
Now that opens up.
It's any land card, so you can get your fetches in there and then crack them to bring out another one
and
with
bring
it.
Even
it's not
more.
Any 10 lands.
That's Vault Cut.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And that fits in this deck, too.
So color combos also allow for Alchemist Refuge, the land card that lets you, gives you flash until end of turn on all your non-land cards. So you could actually line it up, like throw a Seedborn in there. Oh, jeez. Is there some
very rude things?
Yeah. Very, very, very rude things. The one thing that makes me happy, though, 3 colors. I'm not going to worry about you having a Blood Moon in this deck.
That is true. I don't need a Blood Moon in this deck.
Probably not a back to basics, so fun layability against. I'll give it a good score. All right, so I want to, if you don't mind, switch over to the one I'm really excited about. The Kodama. Oh yeah, elves. Everybody out there, there's a black-green elf partner that's really gross, but I don't think we're going to talk about that one today.
Oh look, Togo.
So I also found Togo. I did not go into any of the depths that you did there, Blake. When I saw Togo, I just, in my mind, immediately thought land deck, and then got distracted as I was flipping through all the partner commanders. And when I got to the end of the list based on ordering of CMC, Kodama of the East Tree just started ringing bells, and I had to immediately go back and figure out which it was. Find Togo. Oh, mess that up. So Kodama of the East Tree is essentially, it can be considered an extra land card. So 6-drop, 4+2 green, legendary creature spirit. It has reach. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser CMC from your hand onto the battlefield. Partner 6/6. So right out the gate, 6-drop, 6/6 with reach and other abilities like beyond vanilla. This is an amazing card. And because it allows you to, because it's permanent, and also because it says equal or lesser CMC, if I play a land that is a permanent, which means I can play another land just based off the one land for turn. Thus triggering Togo to give you more rocks. Unlike Blake, I did not think about using those rocks as an alternative win con. I just like X, to be quite honest with you. So I kind of went similar in my mind with the Ramanov Crucible exploration, going down that road, but also with the focus on land and just being 2 colors, I can actually turn it into more of a landfall deck. So using Ancient Green Warden to have another access graveyard for my lands, it also doubles the landfall triggers. So between the Zendikar, or between Battle for Zendikar and Zendikar Rising, there's actually quite a bit of creatures that will shotgun damage based off landfall. Tunneling Geopode. You don't have to pull all these up. I'm just going to read them off real quick. But Tunneling Geopode is a 3-drop landfall trigger, 1 damage to each opponent. Skyclave Geopode is a 3/1 trample, 3-drop landfall, gets +2. There's quite a few creatures that either beef themselves, they shotgun the table, and then on top of that, you can get the 2 bigger CMCs that were, one was from the Commander decks, Zendikar Rising, Geode Rager. He's freaking nasty in a landfall deck because his landfall trigger is goad each creature target player controls. So with my 6/6 Commander, that I'm able to get 2 lands per turn, right there, 2 of my opponents, I don't have to worry about them attacking me. They're going to be attacking each other. And then my favorite new landfall trigger card, which I'm looking for any excuse to put in the deck, Mirag, Fury of Akum, gets you these 4+2 red legendary Minotaur Warrior. Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it is attacked this turn. Landfall trigger, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. at the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control.
Don't you have a deck with this in it at the moment?
Yeah, like I said, I'm looking for an excuse to put it in anything. I put this in the black green elves if it wouldn't get me kicked out of the game.
Just anything. Mono blue, throw it in.
So the deck, in my mind, is low drop mana dorks, including artifacts. That way, hopefully you can find a way to pay for one, cheat the other one in, or just dump them all early so you can get Kodama out, and then throw in like an Elvish Piper so that you don't have to pay the full cost for a Murag or any of the other guys, and just a traditional beatdown deck with my army of landfall dudes.
Would you throw a new Omnath in it? If it fit the colors? Or an Omnath, I should say.
So I think the new one is 3 colors. Locus of Rage would fit it. I'd fit it really good. Another landfall trigger, so I'd get double the tokens if I had Ancient Green Warden out. Absolutely.
No,
So
with
this deck-
Ancient Green one, not Ancient Green one, I'm sorry, but with Kodama, the East Tree, which gotta say, like the best tree I've ever seen. Very excited for this card.
It's
Oh,
a
there's
spirit
a shop.
tree.
There's a shop by my house that sells some really cool trees.
I'm wondering if Looking Predator would work with it.
Is it
What
a cat?
predator?
Oh no, it's an ETB. Lurking Predators. That's a great.
Because let's say your opponent casts a spell.
Yeah, totally. It's an ETB trigger for Kodama.
Yeah, then they would then add in, and then you can play from your hand. There's another permanent enter the battlefield. You pull, say, Rampaging Balofs off the top of your deck. You can then put down a Seedborn or something for free on someone else's turn.
Absolutely great catch, because Kodama is not it's not specific to a cast trigger. It's an ETB trigger. That's a great way to put your opponents on tilt. Yeah, go ahead, cast the card. Cast the spell. I dare you.
I really like what we've come up with here, I should say.
I don't know. I think we're gonna have some exciting Friday nights here really soon.
Absolutely. I may drop a good chunk of change on some of this. Especially if I pull both a Thrasios and a Togo.
Even as a commander by itself is just such a powerful card.
So this right here was someone that I know what they pulled. They pulled a foil jeweled, they pulled a mana drain, and then just about every single rare possible.
Opposition, ancient.
Or mythic and rare. Like
From
3
one
visits.
box.
No, this was over 3 boxes. Sorry.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. I thought that was
You
one
think
box.
he got all this out of one box? I know I didn't. I definitely didn't. After I talked to him for a few minutes, he's like, yeah, I pulled 3 boxes. I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. Because if you pulled this out of one box, they just stacked everything. Like, you had you had a shipping error.
Yeah, you got the best box
Luckiest box in the world.
I'm excited for the etched foils. I want to see what they are and what they feel like. I've heard that they are amazing. Because I think this is the new print run that they're doing, where they're at the Japanese style print run that they're doing this time.
Ooh, that's good stock.
Yeah, and if that's true, then all the foils hopefully aren't going to crease and bend over time like they've used to.
I just want to do a little shout out about that mana drain there. they chose some really good cards to reprint this release. It's amazing, good staple cards that we
Arguably the
need in
best
Commander.
counterspell in Magic being reprinted
Uh,
finally.
They redid Vampiric Tutor brings a Bright Heart sitting right there on the top. That needed a reprint for a long time.
Yep. Hey, we can
And
just
it's
play
staple.
Opposition Agent in that other card and just piss everybody off.
Marlin or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want the Opposition Agent because it's not. I mean, it's broken, but not as broken as people giving it credit for. But by
It's like a
itself,
stranglehold with a little bit of more text.
yeah, pretty much. It's just a solid, cost-effective, can't tutor spell on the board creature. While you're at it, I mean, as long as you're not doing the douche canoe way of forcing everyone to tutor, it's not that bad of a card. But I think it's a great control piece. And I'm sorry, I'm also really stoked about that new extra land guy. Never have enough extra land guys, right? Aegis or whatever. He's so cool.
As to the opposition agent, yeah, if you're gonna run that card, I automatically hate you ahead of time. I apologize.
You insta scoop.
I say, are we pre-scooping already?
I don't know yet. We'll see how I feel. How many tutors do I have in hand in this scenario?
I mean, it's no different than a stranglehold or that planeswalker, that blue one.
The only thing is if you tutor for something and somebody flashes that in, they now own that tutor.
Oh yeah, see the flash, and I keep forgetting about that part.
Yeah,
Gotta,
so
Yeah, they
gotta
own my tutor in my deck. Yay! I hope I pull one. I hope I pull two. And I already hated myself before this card came out, so I'm okay with that.
I will not be running it.
I think as long as you're not running the combo piece, it's not the worst thing in the world.
I used to say the same thing about Cycris. I will never own one of those cards. That is mean. It should be banned.
That's what I used to say, and now I own 4 of them.
Right?
Thank you, double masters.
I know, right? I'll take 3 $15 psych riffs. That fits
Oh my
perfectly.
god, that's such a beautiful price for them. I got like 4 or 5 together between me and you, Kayla. I think we got about 5 cyclists floating around in our decks. But it's auto include in blue, you know. You have to put it in there if you got it.
Yeah, it's definitely part of the
If
97.
you don't have it in there, people are gonna suspect that you do.
That is such a good point. It doesn't matter if you run the card, if you run the color. I'm going to assume you have the card and treat you like you have it in there anyway. Put it in there.
Nuts.
So I think
Trying
we're
to
petering
see
out. Anybody got any more cards we want to talk about before we close this out?
Nope.
I really don't got anything off the top of my head.
I'm ready to build my deck.
So if you guys are still there, we just want to say thank you. We're not really here to try to promote ourselves and all that, but if you like what you've heard, feel free to hit the thumbs up, the subscription button, or whatever they call it. If you're interested in the decks I run, you can find me on Tapped Out under EDH Outlaws. Anybody else want to throw their info out there?
Hold on.
I don't have any.
I run my decks with Bad Boy PDX.
I run my decks. Oh, go. Start over and do all yours from start to finish?
Oh, Bad Boy PDX at on Tapped Out.
I do my decks on Moxfield, and I'm under Corn Blake. And I range from ultra budget decks all the way up to high-priced competitive decks.
And you can always send us emails at edhoutlaws@gmail.com. So again, we appreciate you listening to us. And until next time, Outlaws out.